It's why they don't like Hex. Because, oh, it's a scam because I did a 10-year stake, and if I want to unstake it in 2 weeks, I lose my entire principal. Well, yeah, dumb. That's the smart contract. Don't stake more than you want to lose.
What's going on, guys? Broke Boi Crypto here with you again, and today we are going to talk about free crypto that you can claim, mint, and invest in long term with Jack Levin's XEN token. And I'll tell you right now, if you love Hex, you're probably going to like this. Hey guys, if you like hearing about new crypto projects, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel as well. I very much appreciate it. Hit the notification bell, and you can follow me on Twitter. I am at Broke Boi Crypto. So yes, the new offering from Google's Jack Levin is the XEN token. And I'll tell you right now, as we get into it, and we're going to head over to the desk in a minute and review it, go to the website and check out all of the details of it, it's going to remind you about another DeFi protocol from one Richard Hart called HEX. Now, while it isn't exactly like HEX, there are a lot of similarities that I think you're going to see. And one thing I'll say right off the bat, if you like DeFi, if you like trustlessness, if you like not dealing with centralized exchanges and controlling your own bank, minting your own coins, and open source software, then you're probably going to like this. Now, just a little bit about Jack Levin. Again, he used to be with Google. Also, back in the day, was a Bitcoin miner, which reminds me of somebody else as well. But again, the XEN token is meant to claim, mint, and stake it out long term and gain an APY from that time commitment. Before we head over to the desk and check it out in detail, I want to let you know that I will leave the link in the description for XEN so you can check it out. And we are extremely close to the actual launch, which as of now is scheduled for this weekend, sometime between October the 8th and the 10th. But again, much like Hex, this is an opportunity to be your own bank and mint your way to freedom. I like it. Let's head over to the desk and check out XEN token in more detail now.
Okay, so here we are, guys. We are on XEN Crypto. The actual address is going to be xencrypto.io. And I'm really excited to look into this and break this down. What I really love about this is, and obviously you're going to hear lots of comparisons to Hex, quite obviously, like we talked about in the intro. But you're going to see here, even as we go throughout this, why that is, I think. There's just a lot of similarities, but also a lot of things that are different as well. So we're going to go pretty deep into this and check this out. And I love that Jack Levin did put all these specifics on here. There's a lot of really good stuff. And it kind of like with Hex and with Richard, he shows you how he thinks you should use the protocol, but it's not guaranteed to actually work this way. So enough of me talking. We're going to check it out here and explore the site. So again, xencrypto.io. What I really want to get down to is a lot of these important slides down here, okay? The first one is going to be, so he actually puts the XEN audit report here, which to my knowledge, from what I heard Jack say on multiple interviews, which you can find right here on this platform, he has said that the last audits took place at the end of September. So the audit report. So CertIC, a cybersecurity firm, conducted manual XEN crypto code reviews. The code repository for XEN crypto can be found here. You can check it out on GitHub. And the light paper can be found here. So you have a link to that as well. And the audit report page is here. So it's all right there for you to see. This is, again, open source, just like the Hex software. And it's only 417 lines long. So that's another big thing that Jack has talked about. Well, this is a really, really basic and straightforward and simple code, as he says here. So I don't want to get way too bogged down with the code, as it might be somewhat gibberish to some people out there, but I would implore you to check out a lot of Jack's interviews regarding the code. And also, what's her name? Fashion Coder here. She actually made a video. She does this with a lot of stuff. Very cool code review for XEN Crypto. So shout out to her. Yeah, great stuff there. She'll actually go over it in more detail. Real quick, and I don't want to get too bogged down in this. I want to focus more so on how XEN actually works, but focusing on Bitcoin maxis and skeptics, which there are going to be, just like Hex, there's obviously still going to be skeptics out there. So let's check out this section here. Talking tokens is an insult, obviously, to many Bitcoin maxis because Bitcoin is king and nothing else should exist. We all have heard that many a time. Their position is understandable. They make many valid points to support their dislike for anything born on Ethereum or any other chain, and they will likely discard XEN with equal disgust. So let them. I'm sure they haven't even heard of it at this point. The thing is, Zen doesn't care because it comes from the same place Bitcoin did and has the chance to become equally as big. So here we talk about why this is possible and how we get there. So looking at shite coins here. The Bitcoin community coined the term shite coins to describe any token or coin that is not Bitcoin. The maxis see Ethereum as the butthole. This is my first time reading this. So yeah, I don't want to drop any S-bombs on here, and it looks like there's quite a few through here. So go ahead and read this as well. I assume you understand what a shite coin is if you're in this market, obviously. So here you can look at the genesis of Bitcoin. He's going to go over that as well. But about the Zen genesis. So Zen upholds the same principles of the blockchain. It starts from supply zero and is minted entirely by the users. Sound familiar? There's no hash rate to be used, but the user needs to pay a gas fee for the transaction, so there is a cost to produce the tokens. This cost depends on the price of ETH, network usage, base fee, and miner tips. Essentially, the higher Ethereum's network usage, the higher the gas. Not really brain surgery there. You guys should be, if you're watching this video, I'm going to guess that you're familiar with using the ETH network and gas fees. When Bitcoin came out, anyone could mine it on a computer, but as the difficulty increased, more sophisticated and expensive hardware was needed. The regular person was automatically ejected from the ability to create money. Due to price fluctuations, it became something you hodl or hodl or yodel and never sell, reducing crypto adoption and the exchange of economic energy. Zen doesn't require expensive hardware and sophisticated technical knowledge to mint it. People only need to download a wallet, which we're going to get into, and connect it to a dApp. Everyone has the possibility to create money and use it without incurring extensive costs. When Bitcoin was launched, it was so unknown that the OGs could mine it and become whales. Today, Bitcoin's 41% of supply is concentrated in 2,123 addresses. That means 0.0001% of addresses own 41% of the total circulating supply of BTC. So that kind of brings us down to his proposition here, Zen or Bitcoin. Bitcoin is definitely a store of value and hard, uncensorable money. See, I agree. Why can't we all be friends? Bitcoin is kind of like gold or diamonds. This is something that you hold and you save. Bitcoin acts as a buffer, as a layer of stored economic energy that you can potentially exchange into Zen back and forth. So we benefit Bitcoin by bringing more people in, and Bitcoin holders benefit us by providing liquidity. So it's very complementary, says the founder of Zen, Jack Levin. You know, and to me, and this is just me talking, not reading the article, that's what a lot of crypto is. And that's what more people need to get back to is we're all trying to help each other out here and have these chains work together, okay? Self-custody and transparency. Bitcoin was intended to be held as self-custody. But as previously stated, Bitcoin supply centralization may make this difficult in the future. Right now, most of the active Bitcoin is traded on centralized exchanges that hold your keys. And this is what we are trying to get away from. If you are a fan of HEX, if you're a fan of DeFi in general, I imagine you're going to be a fan of Zen. There's no proof that the price isn't manipulated and that it reflects the true value of Bitcoin. Zen is a token that users need to claim and mint with the address that they hold the keys to. It can then be traded on a decentralized exchange if you like SushiSwap or Uniswap, but the ownership of the asset is crucial in the game theory of Zen, and it can't be circumvented. Jack Levin believes that cryptocurrency traded on DEXs is what the crypto space should be all about, because when you can see everything that's happening on chain, while when it's traded on centralized exchanges, it's prone to liquidity issues and price manipulation. And again, if you're a fan of DeFi, if you're a fan of HEX, you're going to be a fan of Zen. I agree with all of these things. This is what crypto was meant to be. Okay, so this next part is something that I find very interesting, and that is that Zen, while it is the default version of it is going to be an ERC20 token. It is launching on Ethereum. That is how you will claim and mint your first Zen tokens. They have already tested on Pulse Chain, Goerli, which is, of course, the Gorilla, or however you pronounce it, the testnet of Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon Matic. So this thing actually is, there's a different version of it on all of these chains. So on September 14th of this year, the Zen dApp landed on the Goerli testnet to be subject to thorough beta testing by the developers and the Zen community. On September the 19th, it also launched on the Pulse Chain testnet, and a few days later on BSC and Polygon Matic. Certic is currently doing the audit, and XEN should launch on Ethereum by the end of the month or the beginning of October. So real quick, before we do actually get to how you do mint XEN, this is going to tell us how XEN is not an ICO. If you were around in crypto in 2017, you are, of course, familiar with the ICO and a lot of the scams that came with it. What I do love, as I've already stated about what's going on in crypto and in DeFi right now, are guys like Richard Hart, guys like Jack Levin that actually understand how this stuff was supposed to work trustlessly and are doing this the way they're doing it. So let's look at how this is explained here. There's a lot of innovation going on in the crypto space, and the possibilities brought by the blockchain technology seem infinite. There were, however, lots of pump and dump scams, hacks, rug pulls, you name it, in crypto schemes. The majority of the projects raising money on Ethereum and other networks want a big chunk of the newly launched tokens for themselves. One way or another, they want to retain control over the project. They can do it by pre-minting and allocating the major part of the tokens for themselves. They can keep admin keys to the smart contract, leaving them the possibility to change the parameters, or they can take on a big part of the governance tokens, keeping them in power to change the rules. By effecting changes, they can manipulate the price to their advantage. This is not decentralization, nor is it a trustless system. So why XEN is different from other tokens? XEN is the first crypto since Bitcoin in which the community builds it from the ground up, says Jack Levin. XEN is different because the community, not the founding team, has full ownership. There's no organization establishing the rules. There are only individuals minting their free tokens, not governed by anyone, and bound solely by the XEN token. There's no one to hold the admin keys to the open source smart contract. XEN is not an ICO. The supply of XEN starts from zero, waiting for the first person to connect their wallet and mint the first XEN tokens. It can be anyone. After that first person, many more will come, and they all will connect their wallets and mint their own XEN. There's no middleman in between. There's no central authority selling you tokens, no team whatsoever. This means that there's no need to trust anyone but yourself. You need to take responsibility for holding on your private key and storing it securely, something we obviously talk about all the time. This is what self-custody is. The possibility to mint tokens for yourself means that you're not doing an ICO because no one is offering anything to you. You do your own work, and everything comes as your own effort. The community of individuals like you makes XEN different from all others because there's no team, organization, or any central part pushing the idea forward or taking profit from it. What makes XEN special? XEN is not an ICO you are used to. People are used to ICOs being started by someone who then decides how to allocate the tokens. That entity makes the money and uses it to invest in the project. XEN is decentralized, and the receiver of free tokens is you, not the project team. It's effectively a reward for your own work, and you are a part of a larger community of XEN. It's possibly the first ethical way to get the tokens because you get them for being you and being here, being aware of this project, and getting involved right away, not because you invested anything in them. The XEN minting function ensures the highest rewards for early adopters. This is one of my favorite parts. The earlier you come and the more people come after you, the more XEN everyone gets. And we're going to get more into detail about this when we get actually into the minting process and some of the game theory. XEN minting difficulty increases on a monthly basis. Each month, it becomes slightly more difficult to mint new XEN, which means that the supply expands because you mint new tokens, but the effect is disinflationary because you mint fewer tokens. All right, this is part of the beauty of how this smart contract works. This is something that people will be talking about because it makes your tokens more valuable as difficulty increases. The decreasing token emission will bring other people on board, which is good. XEN has an amplification reward where 3,000 is the multiplier. It's the multiplier that decreases by 1 every day. If you make it to lock in the multiplier at the launch, then after a maximum of 100 days, you'll get the maximum amount of tokens. If that's not enough, the early adopters also get their XEN multiplied by the early adopter amplification EAA factor. It starts at 10% and decreases in a linear fashion by 1/10 of a percentage every 100. So it's not by time, it's per every 100,000 addresses connected to the smart contract. Moreover, whoever stakes XEN within 1,620 days of the launch can count on an APY, no matter what. During these 4 years, the APY falls every 90 days from 20 to 2%. After that time, the APY remains constant at 2%. Now we're going to get into the real meat and potatoes. This is what you came for, okay? Let's go to how to actually mint XEN, okay? So this is going to assume, once again, if you are here, I'm going to assume you have a MetaMask or at the very least know how to work one or are, smart enough with crypto to hop onto YouTube, figure out how to get a MetaMask on the Ethereum mainnet and import XEN into your wallet. Okay, those are the basics of what you're going to have to do to mint XEN. All right, if you do not know how to do that and have somehow made it this far into the video, go figure out how to do that, I would say, and then come back here. So XEN is a token that can be minted for free by connecting your Ethereum compatible wallet to the XEN smart contract. This is the only thing you need. A wallet like MetaMask, as I said, or any other compatible wallet, and some ETH to pay for the gas fees. And again, a nice thing now, again, a similarity to HEX, XEN launching here in the throes of a bear market, big time, okay? So gas fees are really cheap right now, so it's hardly going to cost you anything to mint these coins. There are different features that make XEN tokenomics interesting, and those include staking times, mint term limits, late withdrawal penalties, which are pretty substantial, the number of people participating in the minting process, and APY rewards. When you connect the wallet to the XEN contract, you need to choose how much time needs to pass before you receive your tokens. The more time that you are willing to wait, the more XEN you'll receive in the end. Additionally, XEN rewards depend on the number of people that interacted with the smart contract before you. When you connect your wallet, you get not a crank, a C rank that tells you this number. Okay, so this is going to be like the order in which your wallet connected to the smart contract. The contract follows also the global rank, indicating the total number of all claims. This number is important because the more people you onboard to XEN after you joined, the more rewards you will get. And all that means is just the more people that join, period. This doesn't even mean that you literally have to go to somebody's house and show them how to get a MetaMask and get XEN. As we know, that can be pretty difficult right now. However, there's no referral link, this is what I was just saying, to share and no promotional code to give. Similarly to Bitcoin, XEN relies on Metcalfe's law. Metcalfe's law states that the value of a network is proportional to the square of the number of participants in the network. This means the more participants that a network has, the more valuable it is. Now you know why Facebook and other social media are valued so much. So, the minting formula. I'm not going to get into this. If you want to actually read these formulas to understand it, that is fine. Just know what these actually stand for. And this looks harder than it really is. So XEN reward equals AMP. AMP is the time-dependent reward amplifier. So it decreases in a linear fashion from 3,000 by 1 every day until it reaches the plateau of 1. CRG is just the global C rank, and then CRU is your actual rank within that. DR is the delta rank, which is simply the global rank minus your rank. And then T is mint term days. So aside from this formula, the whole tokenomics involves other aspects, and one of them is term limits. Again, reminding you of HEX a little bit here. Term limits are counted in days, and the maximum free mint term is capped at 100 days. So that means when you're minting them. Now, this is not staking. We're still talking about minting here. So the maximum amount of time that you have to say you will wait until you receive your minted XEN tokens is 100 days, so just over 3 months, until the protocol registers more than 5,000 participants. After the 5,000 threshold is reached, the free mint term increases logarithmically according to the below function. The curve flattens out when it reaches a maximum of 550 days. It is assumed that the $5,000 mark will be reached very quickly and that they will get the highest rate of inflation. After that, the inflation will follow the Poisson distribution and will decrease drastically to remain minimal after 8 years or so. So here is the free mint formula and then the maximum inflation. Starting from zero supply, everyone will need to mint their tokens, and the amount of minted XEN will determine the total size of their holdings. This means that getting the highest inflation emission gets the highest APY rewards, which are highest for the first 90 days from the launch of XEN. They will decrease over the 4-year period to remain at 2% afterwards. We talked about that earlier. The highest obtainable inflation is also at the beginning of the first days from the launch because it's when users get the early adopter amplifier, the 10% bonus, and the highest reward amplifier of 3,000. This AMP, as well as EAA, decrease over time and Zen becomes disinflationary. So we talked about penalties earlier. These are penalties for forgetting your Zen contract, basically. So we know with HEX, there are early end stake penalties that can be very massive depending upon how long you're staking for. There also are if you forget to unstake a stake, okay? This is what we're looking at here with Zen as well. So penalties. People who claim their C rank and ended their waiting period are able to withdraw their tokens through a Web3 interface provided for this purpose. Withdrawing and minting Zen tokens is subject to penalties for the delay. There's no penalty if the tokens are minted when the stake ends, but each additional day is a percentage of tokens lost. Being late 1 week means that you lose all of your Zen, 100%. 1 week. It doesn't matter how many tokens you had or if you experienced technical problems. After 7 days of delay, they are lost. That is in the contract. It's hard-coded. Well, he says the same thing I just said. It's hard-coded in the smart contract and no one can change it. Again, the beauty of these open source, trustless contracts. Act responsibly and claim your stake as soon as it ends so you don't suffer any loss. Now, this is why people don't like the people that don't understand HEX and don't have any accountability. It's why they don't like HEX. Because, it's a scam because I did a 10-year stake, and if I want to unstake it in 2 weeks, I lose my entire principal. Well, yeah, dumb. That's the smart contract. Don't stake more than you want to lose. That's really what it is. These things that people think are scams are just that they don't understand them, don't read them. So, of course, it's a scam to you because you didn't educate yourself and you don't have any accountability, which probably carries over to the rest of your life. I digress. The penalties are applicable as follows. 0, obviously, on the first day. 1 day late is just 1%. 2 day late, 3, 3.8, 4.17. Obviously, it exponentially increases here. 5 days, 35%. And after that, you're pretty much screwed. 6 days, 72%. And then again, after that week, you lose the whole thing. Zen's staking APY. So now we're looking at the staking. And here he actually acknowledges HEX. So here you go. And that's a nice thing, too. Some people, a lot of hexicans seem to be on board with Zen. And I do like that because it's a similar product created in a similar vein. And I'm glad there's not a lot of hating on it or anything like that. And Jack Levin isn't, trying to steal anything from Richard Hart. He openly is mentioning HEX a lot. So similarly to HEX, which relies on a staking mechanism for yield generation, Zen also uses time locks with a maximum locking period of 1,000 days. So this is only a little bit under 3 years, whereas the maximum HEX stake is that 5,555 over a 15-year stake. However, there are some other nuances between HEX and Zen. Zen has no early end stake penalties. Intriguing here. Users can end their stakes whenever they want, but they won't receive the APY rewards. How do Zen APY rewards work? When the Zen smart contract launches, the APY starts at 20% and decreases by 1% every 90 days until it reaches 2% and remains unchanged indefinitely. We've talked about that a few times here. 1 year after the Zen Genesis, the APY will be at 16%, and it will reach the plateau of 2% after 1,620 days from the launch. The APY is non-compounding and is given in addition to the general formula. Internally, when you stake Zen, the tokens are burned while only the record exists. When you end the stake, your Zen and the APY are minted into existence. And then you can check out an article with game theory of Zen, which actually is what we're going to do here in a moment. All right, so this is going to be the final section we check out. Just like HEX, there's a lot of game theory with Zen, so let's check it out. And I love that they offer it right up to you. This doesn't mean this is the answer, but it gives you a good layout of things people may do, okay? Unlike Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, it's not enough to mint or buy and hold Zen to achieve maximum rewards. Max rewards mean being in the right place at the right time, and that can be tricky. Due to its game theory, there's a sweet spot where you can achieve maximum rewards based on the number of participants, the length of the stake, and the APY rewards. The minting difficulty adjustments makes it harder for each new participant to receive rewards after some time, unless new participants extend the amount of time to get their XEN. So again, there is the XEN minting formula. We've already been over this. You can see there's a lot of redundancy on the site, but I like that because these contracts are a little bit hard to understand at first. There's a lot of people, I think, even involved in HEX right now that don't fully understand the smart contract. So I'm glad he really does lay all this out over and over. So finding XEN's sweet spot, ooh, getting dirty here. The game theory would be to find the sweet spot, which is very hard to find. Don't we know that? Making XEN more interesting. Being the first to mint tokens on the first day is the best option, of course, as the rewards will be the greatest when you're early. Every additional person who joins the XEN network after you means that more rewards will be minted for everyone. The catch is that if someone continues minting every day in large quantities, he will dilute other participants, he, she, or they. This will keep other people minting XEN to maintain their share in the global network. They will need to extend the waiting time to keep minting more. After 8 years, XEN's difficulty adjustment will make it very hard to mine the new tokens, and everyone will be left with the tokens they minted. To stop minting them halfway means losing to everyone else. Continued minting means more gas fees. Find your sweet spot for what you want to do with XEN and your best strategy for profit maximization. So you can see how it's really individualized based on what you're doing. It's great to have a high delta rank with a long time range as it guarantees a high inflation allocation to yourself. High delta rank is ensured by the overall number of people joining the network. When you claim your rank, you reserve for yourself a spot on the blockchain that will assign you a particular place in the queue, with the particular AMP and EAA you gained by being early, and with a time frame that you have set. Being early seems like the perfect option due to the mad inflation rate given also by very high staking APY. A high staking lasts 4 years, and after that, it remains at a flat 2%. This is good. However, if you plan to mint just that one time, you're going to get diluted real fast because everyone after you will have much more, assuming they continue minting. You may need to mint from additional addresses, and that's what you need to do if you don't want to lose to everyone else. There's this dichotomy where every additional user creates more tokens for others because the global rank automatically raises. But on the other hand, there needs to be constant minting to keep pace with others who will surely mint more. It's like a race where everyone starts the same, but not everyone can win. Whales will have lots of ETH for gas fees to mint from multiple addresses every day, while average people will do some minting here and there. However, it is possible that the whales will avoid the trouble of minting and will instead purchase from the market from small minters just like you. If a whale has no bot, then this is what's going to happen. No whale will sit and hit buttons the whole day. Finding the perfect game theory for yourself means taking into consideration all of these points. We've pretty much already looked at the free mint term, but it is limited to 100 days until it surpasses the 5,000 participants. Once the 5,000 mark is passed, free mint will increase logarithmically according to that function. We talked about that a little bit earlier, and we talked about the amplifying XEN rewards. You definitely want to have the greatest possible amp. That's why it's good to reserve your spot in the first few days of launch. Using the initial 100-day wait time and further the longest allowed time looks like the best option to get the most out of XEN. The unknown is the number of participants that will join the network after you and in what time frame. This can be just a few, or this could be a million. This number is important as from here we get our delta rank. The greater, the better. The inflation rate will be growing in the initial phase of adoption because of the amplifier, and it will decline progressively over time. It's unknown what the XEN price will be, and it's hard to make predictions. It's assumed those who mint XEN will want to sell it for a price that at least covers their gas fees. Why wouldn't you? They will price in the time they needed to wait before minting the tokens. So we have pretty much covered everything there. There's some nice game theory on XEN. Now, there's one more thing I wanted to acknowledge, and you might have picked up on it on the last section, and that is how do they track who has claimed their XEN? Obviously, this is anonymous in terms of who you are as a person. But yes, that actually means that you can create as many wallets as you want to and mint XEN, okay? There is no limit, but there also could even be a downside to that. So let's read a quick section on that. How XEN fights against minting with multiple addresses. Zen bulk minters. Okay, so let's check this out. People claiming their rank with 1,000 addresses means that they will need to pay gas fees for all of these transactions. If a gas fee is $2, then that would be $2,000. No one can say if Zen will ever be worth anything, so they'd be spending more than they'd get back. But if the Zen price is higher than this, all these claims will advance the global rank for every other user out there and make them mint more tokens. It's also true that there are penalties for exceeding the agreed upon time limit. If someone misses on minting his Zen, they're all lost after 7 days. When you mint Zen, you pay another gas fee. So for someone with 1,000 different addresses, okay, again, you don't know where the price is going to go. So that would add another $2,000 onto the transactions after when you mint as well. When you go to sell your Zen, you at least want to get back what your cost of minting and claiming was, and you likely won't put your Zen on sale for less than the gas price. This could create positive price pressure. But down here to the value of Zen versus the users, there's a relationship between price, the number of users, and time. And it can be seen in internet, Facebook, and Bitcoin. And it will most likely be seen in Zen as well. In the above-mentioned networks, the long-term growth rate in users had considerable effect on the long-term price. In Bitcoin, price changes tend to be highly correlated with changes in the number of addresses, nodes, active addresses, unique addresses, and transaction activity. Metcalfe's law is a good predictive model for estimating networks' value, and if applied to Zen, it means that the network effect has a potential to send Zen to follow the parabolic curve of other world-scale networks. So I'm feeling good about this. As I talked about in the intro, I think this gave you a pretty good overview of Zen. So get out there, get your MetaMask, claim and mint your Zen, and let's go on this journey together. One last thing I want to look at is the difference between Zen and HEX, because again, I like that Jack Levin is acknowledging it. There are similarities. People are noticing it. There are people, again, within the HEX community, they're already into Zen. And Zen resembles HEX because it values long time preference. Both projects reward the holders for the amount of time they invest into holding onto their tokens. The yield, which is paid to stakers, comes from the inflation and not other users. They are inflationary because their supply grows, but at the same time, HEX has a decreasing number of T-shares, determining how the daily inflation gets split up between the stakers, while Zen's emissions is decreasing over time and depends on the delta rank of each user. HEX, of course, has the OA, the origin address, holding the majority of the tokens, while Zen has no OA, and every user can mint Zen by themselves. HEX token was minted based on donations it received from the users, while Zen starts from zero supply, and the supply is created in the process of free minting performed by every single person. So there you go, guys. I hope this gave you a better understanding of Zen. Again, this is zencrypto.io. Be your own bank and mint your way to freedom.
So there you have it, guys, an in-depth look at the XEN token. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. Leave them below. I am very excited about this. And, you know, no matter your thoughts, whether you are a current Hexakin or whatever it may be, many people in the Hex community are already a big fan of this, as I mentioned. But if there's anybody out there that feels that Jack Levin is ripping off this idea from Richard Hart or anything, I don't think that's the case because there's obvious differences. Not only that, we should be happy that there is another product out there like this. This is the direction that we want crypto to go. This is actual freedom of movement and you controlling your own coins and being your own bank. We should applaud anybody who continues to move crypto into this direction because that is what it was intended to be. So again, guys, if you liked the video, please do like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell. I very much appreciate it. And you can follow me on Twitter. I'm at Boi Crypto. I want to personally thank all you broke boys for watching another one of these videos, and I will catch you in the next one.